Hi, and welcome to the Quick and Dirty Romance Podcast. We're your hosts, romance authors and bicoastal friends for life. I'm Skye McDonald, author of the hockey series, The Connecticut Commodores.
And I'm Sarah Smith, author of the steamy hockey romance, Dirty Pucker.
And together we are Sarah Skye, author of the best-selling Unlikely Pairing series.
Each episode will dive deep into what it's like to be a contemporary romance author. We'll talk writing inspiration, give you the inside scoop about the publishing world, chat about how we write those infamous sex scenes, and more. And then we'll pull out and wrap it up in 30 minutes or less, but we promise to leave you satisfied.
So if you haven't already read our books, be sure to check them out after you listen to this podcast. And we are open to DMs with any questions or requests for future episodes that you might have.
So 2024 is almost at a close, and we thought our last episode of the year would be a little bit of a recap, just to look back and look forward.
Absolutely. It's been a big year for both of us. Not to mention, November 27th was our 5-year mark as a podcast together. So yay to that. And yay to the thousands of people who have downloaded and listened and followed us all along. We thank you so much. It delights us that you continue to be delighted by us. All right. 2024 wrapped. Not pulled out and wrapped up just yet. But it's been a big year for both of us in terms of both personal and professional events, if you will. So we're just going to recap that. Let's start at the beginning and don't stop till we get to the end. Sarah, when you look back on 2024, what are some highlights for you?
Gosh, so, okay, well, book highlights. I published a brand new series, my hockey romance series, the Denver Basher series, Fake as Puck and Dirty Pucker. And it is a highlight for me because I never thought I'd write sports romance ever. And here I am. 2024 was the year of hockey romance for me, which is hilarious because anybody who knows me would be like, you don't care about hockey. And you're right, I do not, but I love hockey romance. So yes. That's, I don't know, like, a more thoughtful take of that would be I was able to do something I thought I never would be able to do. Like, I'm not somebody I didn't play any sports growing up. I have 2 brothers and they did, like, sports was their thing. And my thing was like to go to their games and like act bored because I didn't care. Sorry, brothers, I love you, but I didn't care about your games. But I think it just like was a moment of me like thinking, can I do this? Can I like go out of my comfort zone and write a trope that I never thought that I would, and it turns out I could. And it also turns out that I really enjoy it. And I'm really proud of myself for taking on a romance trope that I didn't think that I could ever do or would ever do, and then just genuinely really enjoying it. Like, not only do I like writing it, I also love reading it. Like, I'm a huge hockey romance reader. Again, not hockey fan, so please don't come to me. Like, I don't know what's happening right now in the actual sports. If you want to talk about that, I am not your girl. But if you want to talk about hockey romance, I'm your girl.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I love the way that you spun that. I love the way that you look at it as like a challenge to yourself that you rose to. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just, because I've always been like somebody who I get like, if it's something I've never done or something that seems like very daunting, like I get very intimidated by it. And I think like, oh, I wouldn't do a good job, so I'm not even going to try it. I've done that in a lot of things in my life when I was younger. So I feel like now I'm not going to limit myself like I used to, you know, like I'm not going to tell myself I can't do things. I mean, I will to an extent. Like, I'm going to tell myself I can't go skydiving because that's dangerous and I would obviously die. But like, for safe things, for safe, fun things, nothing is off limits. And I think that was something I learned in 2024 is I can do hard things. I can do difficult things, you know?
So it's funny that you say that, because one of the reasons that I think we have always been bonded and such good friends is because we share a attitude of, yeah, I could do that. So, and we would just go and do it. So it's funny because that's not how I see you. Like, I don't
Really?
think of you as a daredevil. I do not think, at one point in a conversation, you described yourself as a human cardigan, and that has never left my mind. Because you were saying, like, oh, if we were out at a wild night out, I would be the one making sure everybody had enough water. So, yes. So I think about you in that way, but I also think about you as somebody who is not afraid to take on a new reasonable challenge. So it's like, does this make sense? Is this a reach for me? But it's a good reach for me. Yes, let's go do it. And that's why we have a 5-year-old podcast together, because we were just hanging out in Nashville and we were like, you know what we should do? We should podcast. And so we podcast. And here we are with thousands of listeners and 5 years of episodes under our belt. So, and 3 books, of course, and so much friendship. But yeah, like, so I think of you as somebody who goes and does whatever it is she puts her mind to do, as long as it's, reasonable and not death defying.
Right.
Yes, I absolutely think of you as a go-getter and very, very reliable in that way. And so I'm not at all surprised that you have absolutely crushed this new trope. And I am delighted and can't help but comment that it's interesting that you have found that what you thought were hard limits weren't so hard after all.
Right? Yeah. First of all, thank you, Skye. That means a lot coming from you. It's just, yeah, I think, and that's one of the things that like drew me to you as a person is you go out of your comfort zone. Again, not in an unintelligent, dangerous way where like, Skye, you're gonna die. Please don't do that.
Sometimes.
Like, sometimes. Well, okay, yeah.
More prone to it than you are. Let's put it that way.
True.
I'm more prone to it than you are.
But literally everybody is, because I don't do a lot of like dangerous physical things because I am a wimp and I'm scared of everything. So, but no, like you are definitely somebody who doesn't back down from a challenge, and that's how you live your life. And I think that that's like what makes you part of what makes you who you are, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, totally. So, okay, how about looking back on 2024, Skye, for you, what is something that stands out to you?
Well, it's so funny because I also published my hockey romance series.
Yes.
So same and totally different. And if you want to talk about hockey with one of us, I am your girl. Yes. As we have talked about before in previous episodes, I am a massive hockey fan, and bringing the Connecticut Commodores scoreless, scored on it in the crease to life has been a big deal for me, because I've been sitting on scoreless. I've been sitting on scoreless for like 7 years. So very excited to finally like bring it out in an iteration. Obviously early drafts, early ideas, but a French Canadian goalie had been in my mind for a long time. So very excited to finally bring Quinn out into the world and then follow him up with 2 others, which there is going to be one more. But we're not in 2025 yet. So, but yes, so I too have been able to publish my hockey romance, and in an entirely different framework. It makes me so proud because I am so excited to share my love of hockey and romance in this way. And when I have readers saying things like it makes me want to watch a game even though I've never watched a game, or like the hockey in this book is really fun as well as the steamy story. Like, I love that. It means a lot to me. Having my beta reader hockey goalie say like, oh, this is accurate or really well done. Like, it's like, the fact that like I was able to do like justice to my fandom of hockey and French Canadian goalies specifically, but we've talked about that, was a really big deal. So, and I was really appreciative of all the people who helped me make sure that it was on point in that way. So really thrilled about that. And I guess too, to add on to that, since we're talking books, I also wrapped up my Anteg Bell series. So my Nashville contemporary romance set in my hometown of Nashville, What Happens at the Beach, came out, and that's the close of that series. I have more books in it, but I don't think it doesn't feel right to keep going. So really excited about the fact that long-standing part of my writer's career, like it's been, it was where I started, like to bring it into a full 5-book series has meant a lot. And a lot of people have really loved What Happens at the Beach. For some people, it's like their favorite. So I was excited about that too.
That's amazing, Skye. Yeah, like yes, because I remember the Antebellum series, reading the book one, Not Suitable
Mhm.
for Work. And so just like seeing that end the way that it did was really, I don't know, as a reader, it was
Mhm.
very fun. It was very
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. And I mean, I love that series and it could go on forever, but you're right. Like sometimes as an author, like, you know, it's time to move on to something new. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's over. Like maybe you come back to it at some
Yeah,
point.
maybe.
Yeah.
In terms of things surrounding, so last episode we talked about author life. So we just talked about our accomplishments with books. What other things in your author life, whether it be routines, interactions with fans, like your approach to write, like whatever, what has 2024 brought you?
2024 has taught me, or I guess I realized that like I can do a lot of stuff on my own as an author. Like and I guess what that means is before I kind of used to, like, I've always been one of those people where like, oh, no, I shouldn't try this. I should like go to this person to like get advice on this. And it's good. I think it's good to have people that you can go to, especially in the author writer world, that you can like bounce ideas off of, or like ask them like, hey, when you tried this particular method or technique, like how did that go for you? But one of the things I've realized is like literally anything is possible in good and bad ways. So like something that works for one author, like a social media post or like a trope, like, and it does really well for them, it does terribly for somebody else. You know what I mean? So like, I guess realizing that like I can do literally whatever I want, and it doesn't really matter. Like, well, like ideally it all works out, right? You do whatever you want and it all works out and nothing ever fails. But like that's not how this works. Um, at least not for me, author life. But just kind of learning that like I shouldn't be afraid to try stuff, especially as I was fully indie author this year when it came to all of my romance books. So that kind of gave me the freedom and flexibility to do literally anything and to realize like, wow, I'm capable of a lot more than I thought that I was. Um, so just, I don't know, just like writing out of my comfort zone. I feel like writing a hockey sports romance series like kind of kicked that off for me. But also just like realizing that I can do this giveaway, or like I'm going to try this with my newsletter, or I'm going to reach out to these authors and see if they want to like do this group post with like, I don't know, it just showing that I can do a lot more than I thought I could, like even 5 years ago when I started publishing. Because 5 years ago I started as a traditionally published author, like I only published through publishers. And when you do that, everyone's roles are very like regimented and very defined, and you don't really like go into other parts of the publishing process. But like as an indie author, you can do everything yourself. The one thing that I refuse to do is like design my own cover, because I am terrible at
Same.
right at cover design, and because I think it's really important to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and design is my weakness. So I have wonderful designers that I've worked with
Yes.
and they design the most beautiful covers, and I'm so thankful for them. I don't know. I guess never say never. Maybe like in a year from now I'll be doing. I won't be. Maybe in a year from now I'll
No,
be doing my own
me
covers.
neither.
No, I will not. So yeah, just like I don't know, just learning that I could do a lot more than I thought I could, and that's been a really exciting and thrilling. How about you, Skye?
Well, I love that for you, first of
Thank
all.
you.
I think
Thank you.
that's awesome. I think it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Um, when I was asking this question, what I was thinking about in terms of my own answer is the way I've gotten to connect with fans. I have been to Denver, California. Where else have I been?
Like all over New
Massachusetts,
England.
Savannah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Massachusetts, Savannah, Connecticut, and then quite a few places in New Jersey at book festivals, book conventions, and book festivals. And the amount of people that I have gotten to meet and got to know, people I've seen at multiple events, people I've gotten to really connect with, following up in like my Facebook group, like connecting with readers has been a big deal for me this year. and continuing that like connection virtually until we meet again. And then like through my Facebook group and my newsletter, and being able to just continue to talk to and get to know the people who are reading my book, our books. Because I've certainly had people come to me and be like, oh, I love the Sarah Skye books, or I love Sarah, I like all of that in our connection. But getting to really, because my whole brand platform, of course, is that falling in love with yourself is the true key to happily ever after. So being able to talk with authentic readers and like get to know like what it is that motivates them, and also what they like, and really that's been a real privilege for me. I've really been lucky to be able to travel in this way. I'm going to continue doing book festivals next year, albeit far more regionally to the Northeast. Sorry, just it is a budget thing, but I am going to Atlanta, so I'm excited about that. But all that to say, like the connection with readers and beginning to really grow like a base and get to know the people that I'm writing for has been a big deal for me this year. So that's and then also too, I guess sort of adjacent to that, like keeping up that schedule, but also publishing every other month. I'm really proud. Like this is the first full calendar year where I have exclusively been an author, not an author and something else. And so like I'm very proud of the ability, or the fact that, kind of to your point, like I wanted to make that happen, so I made it happen.
Yeah, no, seriously, Skye, you were the BookCon queen this like every time I talk to Skye, she's like, I'm getting ready for this BookCon, or I'm at this BookCon, and I'm like, oh my God, Skye, you were doing a lot. Yeah.
I was. It was worth it. It was worth it.
Oh.
It was aggressive, but it was worth it, and I really enjoyed it. I'm very glad that I've had this experience this year. And like I said, I am excited about next year. It will look different. It'll have a different flavor, but I am excited. Yeah. Okay, so I have another question. I realize I'm pulling questions today.
No, it's
What's
good.
something that didn't go the way you wanted it to this year? Not to dwell, but just either a lesson learned, or like we're moving on from that.
Okay, so interestingly enough, this is a good one. This is very book cover specific for me. Something that did not go the way I thought it was I tried out sexy man chest covers for a few of my books. And my readers did not, I wouldn't say my readers didn't like it, because some people did, but people much prefer, at least from me, illustrated covers.
Okay.
And that was disappointing in a way, because I love sexy man, like I love all book covers when it comes to romance, because I think all of them are like beautiful and different and creative. But and I'll admittedly, illustrated covers are still my favorite. Like I will love those forever. But I love a good sexy man chest cover. Absolutely love. And I felt like, God, it'd be so fun to do one. So I did a couple. I did a few, one for a standalone book, and then I did a couple for my Denver Bashers book
I
series.
remember.
Yeah, my hockey romance series. And I love them, and I think they look really good. So like Fake as Puck and Dirty Pucker both have sexy man chest covers, and people like them, but they like the illustrated ones way better. So that was disappointing in that just because like when you try something new, especially something that you're excited about, I think you have the expectation like, oh, other people are going to love this. And other people did, but just not as many people who as you hope. But I think like that's part of author life, especially indie author life, is you try stuff and you see if it works out, and it surprises you, both good and bad. Like there is some stuff that like I tried that I thought would be like, nobody's gonna care about this, and then people loved it, and I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'll go with that. Like it's just you really can't predict anything. Like you can look at what you've tried, or you can look at trends, or you can look at what the book market is doing. You can try stuff, but you can't ever like predict like, oh, this is gonna work for me. Because it's not going to. Like that's what I've learned. Like what you think is going to work out will not work out. What you think is going to be a waste of time is going to be like the best thing you've ever tried. So yeah, sexy man chest covers. So I'm glad I tried it. I'm really glad that I have, a handful of or I have a few Sexy Man chest covers of my romances, but like illustrated is the way to go for me. How about you? What's
Okay.
something that did not work out the way you thought it would, or you had expectations for in 2024, but like came out differently?
Well, as soon as I say it, you're gonna go, oh, of course. So I am a publishing label, right? I'm an indie author, but I have Anti-Bell Books LLC. And I was very excited this year about publishing my first anthology. And we brought it together. We had this idea, and Sarah's part of this. So
Yeah.
if you're not watching the YouTube, Sarah's nodding and cheersing her mug to me. We had created this idea with a group of our friends who are also romance authors, and we were very excited about it. And for a variety of reasons, well, for a couple of reasons, it did not get off the ground. We all had our stories, and they were all wonderful, and it just didn't come together for some personal reasons. And I was disappointed in that because I was very much excited about for publishing my first anthology. And I'm not daunted. I still have anthology plans. But that was a thing that I was excited about, having that like sort of notch in my publishing belt, and it just didn't come together, and that's okay. I think we all walked away with really good stories in our back pocket, which I'm going to shamelessly promote that I am about to release it as a Kindle Unlimited this weekend. So Mistletoe Rewind is the story that I wrote, and I am excited about it. But I was really looking forward to that book, and that's okay. That's okay. We learned some things. We tried some things. It didn't work. Like you said, you can't hang your hat. You can't know that it's going to work. So we went for it, and lessons learned. We will try again soon.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's author life, book
Right?
life. I feel like we both make plans on our own and together for a
Mhm.
lot of things, and some stuff just doesn't work out like with anything else. And it's not even that it's bad, it just didn't work
Nope.
out, and you
It just
gotta,
didn't work out. Right?
yeah, yeah.
There's no hard feelings about it. I mean, we're obviously all still friends. It wasn't like some sort of big
No,
drama or anything.
yeah. I
It
don't
was
want it,
just
yeah.
no,
We didn't have
no
a falling
drama, no
out.
tea. There is no tea here.
Right. No, 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 no. Yeah. It's just like,
It just
stuff
didn't
just
work.
doesn't
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that was definitely a thing that I was looking forward to. But I fear not, because I do actually have an idea for an anthology, and I've got to figure out when I'm going to bring that together. But I'm excited about my idea, so we'll go from there.
Yay, that's exciting. I'm
Yeah.
sorry it didn't work out. I was disappointed too, but like, I think we have some fun stuff coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. All right. So that's 2024 in a recap. What are you doing to end the year?
Okay, so as far as like book stuff goes, I'm done publishing for 2024. Everything I've released so far this year, it's all done, it's all out there. Currently I'm just getting ready for 2025. So just getting more hockey romance books ready to publish. I have a fun little sexy enemies to lovers romance coming out in May, Much Ado About Hating You. It's like Shakespearean fanfic, and it's so good. I'm getting that ready. To close out the year, I'm not really somebody who plans like a huge bash or anything like that, but I like to just kind of like, and this isn't something like I go and do. It's just something that in my head that I try to do. I just like to kind of just take stock of the year. And even if I didn't accomplish every single thing that I wanted to, I just remind myself like, I still did a lot. I'm still in a really good place. I have wonderful family and friends. I have a lot of things that I should be thankful and grateful for. And even if everything worked out terribly, I still have that, because that's something that not everybody has. And I should be very thankful that I get to end the year with my husband, my crazy cat, my friends, and my family. And That's just something that either like champagne or prosecco or something bubbly to like toast. That's
Very good.
me. Yeah, I try to be reflective, but also fun. Like we're gonna down some bubbles.
Good. Excellent.
How about you?
Well, like I just said, because of the dissolution of the anthology, I do get this bonus story because mine was set at Christmas time, 1987. And so that's coming out. My newsletter already has their copies of it, and it's going to be free on KU this weekend. So free short story. Awesome. Excited about that. That is like a last minute thing for me. I am gearing up for the new year. I'm participating in 2 anthologies that I have due in January. So I am currently working on those. And then just getting ready for my publishing schedule for next year and my travel schedule. I am doing the 4th and final book in the Connecticut Commodore series, which I am excited about. And actually, based kind of to build on what you said earlier, it's actually my decision to do that was actually built on some feedback I got from a fellow author, and being able to connect with some fellow authors has also been very valuable. So I'm doing that. But in the meantime, personally, my travel is finished for the year. Thank goodness, because while I love to be on the go, I also like being in my house. And I was actually just telling Sarah before we started this podcast, before we started recording, I always take solstice to New Year's as kind of a liminal time. And I use it to kind of reflect on the year and sort of make some peace and close out anything I need. But it's a very quiet time for me. And I just don't, I really try not to take on anything in that time and let it be sort of, like I said, liminal. Just a lot of like chill and, you know, whatever I want, whatever I want. And I don't know what that's going to be, and I don't have to plan it. So I'm excited about that too.
No, you've earned that time to yourself, Skye. You did a lot this year, publishing, traveling. You got to take some time for yourself.
Well, you deserve the bubbles, all the publishing, all the accomplishments. Absolutely. So here's to whatever your pleasure.
Of course, of course.
Well, this year has been great for me. This podcast is always great for me. Was it good for you, Sarah?
Hell yeah, it was good.
Thank you all so much for listening. Yet another year closes out. If you like what you hear, we do appreciate your reviews wherever you listen to this podcast. Then go on, read our books. We've written a bunch of them this year, and we've got a bunch more coming. Don't wait. You can find us on Instagram. We are at author Sarah Skye. I am on Instagram, mostly Facebook, and very little TikTok, but everywhere you find me, I am author Skye McDonald.
And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I am at author Sarah S. We love to hear from you, so reach out and DM us with any questions or requests for future episodes.
Thanks again for listening. Merry everything, happy everything, and blessed New Year. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.